Paranormal Dimensions is a regular feature on Mondays on the Paranormal UK radio network.
This is Malcolm Robinson and you're listening to the Paranormal UK radio network, the UK's biggest paranormal network, and this is Paranormal Dimensions with David Young.
Thank you for that, Malcolm. Welcome to yet another Paranormal Dimensions show. Who would have thought I'd still be doing this over a year later? I most certainly didn't, and I appreciate everyone that's been messaging me with kind words about the show. Thank you so much. Please keep sending in those very welcome comments. Even if you have something critical to say, I'm listening. Okay, now the guest for this show is someone I have great affection for, in actual fact. Vivien Powell is the CEO, founder of RAPS, that's RAPS, RA Paranormal and Supernatural, a non-profit organisation. She also attended the College of Psychic Studies in 2006. Vivien and I have met at several events several times, and as I said previously, I like her very much and I have great respect for her abilities, some of which I've been witness to, but I know there is so much more to her abilities than I know of. Added to that, Viv is one of the nicest people you could wish to meet, but a warning, stay on her good side. She doesn't suffer fools easily, hates liars and cheats in all their forms. So let me welcome Vivien Powell to the show. Hello, Viv.
Hello, how are you? Oh, that was a great welcome, thank you.
Did you know you like it? Good. I thought you might.
And Malcolm as well. Oh, what a lovely guy he is.
Yeah, he's great, Malcolm. And as I say, he did that little intro for me, which I use on the several shows. And as I say, I might ask you to do one for me, as we say. Anyway, Viv, tell us. Right, let's try and go right back to where you started in this, I won't call it business, but how you first discovered you had some sort of abilities.
Oh, God. Well, we'll go right back to my childhood then, because...
I think it's the best place to start, really, isn't it? Yeah,
well, my childhood was quite a rotten one, really, and it wasn't because my parents were abusive or things like that. It was because I was scared of what was going on in the house. I was seeing spirit, things were happening, things were moving. It was actually quite frightening, and because I would, as a child, don't understand, burst into tears, become uncontrollable, you know, like a frenzy of, I can't stay here on my own, can't go to bed, can't do this, can't do that, because mum would slap me and send me to bed because she didn't understand, you know. And that went on for years until one day my mum witnessed something, couldn't explain it, gathered me and my sister, got us, bundled us into the car and took us off down the road to my nan's until my dad got home, you know, so, and then they started listening, but by then I was 7, you know, and I had it for years and years and years in that house.
Really? What did you sort of have any sort of invisible friends and things like that we hear about?
Well, not really. I mean, I was a tomboy, believe it or not.
I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a tomboy. So so my toys were all cars, guns, caps, that sort of thing. And, yeah. You know, my pride of joy was my Action Man that sat in the tank, and you know, I would wheel that up and down in the hallway behind the front door. Now the front door was quite a solid door with a small little half moon, if you like, panes of glass at the top. And the key, you know, you put the key in the door, and that was quite high up. So, and the latch, I couldn't reach it, you know. But my earliest memory of spirit was, I saw a shadow behind the half moon. The key went in the door. My dad was at work. My sister was out playing with her friends. There was a play date like mums used to do, take one of the kids to play with somebody. And anyway, there was just me and my mum in the house. Mum was in the front room doing the ironing. I was in the hallway. And I see this man behind the, just a shadow behind the half moon window. I heard the key go in the door. I saw the door handle turn, come down as though somebody was opening the door. The door opened. A man walked in that I didn't recognise. He had a long raincoat on. He had a briefcase that was more like a satchel, like a leather satchel. Does that make sense? And then he had a trilby hat on. I remember him looking straight at me and walking towards me. He shut the door behind him and wiped his feet. And then he walked straight through me and then to the kitchen, disappeared where the kitchen sink would be and out through the windows like he was walking. Oh, it was just really weird. And that was quite, scary. I didn't know what was happening. It affected me physically. Of course, my mum then come in. What you screaming for? Slapped me. You was being naughty. Sent me to bed,
Right. So she had no, idea about all this stuff at all, by the sound of it.
She eventually, she did actually see him and experience him.
Really?
And when my mum years later was talking to one of the neighbours, there was an explosion, in the vicinity where the house was. The bottom of the garden would have been where that actual house, or our house was in the area where this explosion happened and a man died. And when we described who this man was that we were seeing, I said, yeah, he used to live in that property.
Oh, so where that sink was obviously a doorway of some sort.
Yeah. But he actually used a key to get in the door, and I heard it go in. I see the thing. Yeah, it was just crazy. So that's how I really got into it, because my parents divorced when I was young, so I would still have to come back at weekends to that house with my dad. Because I was so uncontrollable in that house. He would take us out, for long days out. And I would see things, like people hanging from trees, and there's a man hanging, and my dad would have to pull the car up and stay in the car, don't turn around, don't look, I'll go and check, and there's nothing there. So, my childhood wasn't brilliant.
I've always wondered what it's like when you see spirit like that. Do you actually see them in like colour, or is it like a see-through misty type of thing?
Well, it depends on how they want to show themselves and the level of, I'm going to say haunting, because it is still a haunting. It's the level of haunting you're looking at, because you have replays, then you have interactive spirits. So I can see them as misty, as a silhouette, as a shadow, because I hear them as well. I can just hear them, or I see them like I see you in the flesh, David. You could walk straight past me and I mean, oh yeah, and say hello to you, get hello back. And people are saying to me, who are you talking to? There's nobody there, But,
I see dead people. Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it got to the stage when I was in my teens, and it sort of petered off a little bit, because I learned to just ignore it. If I ignored it, it would go away, So that's how I spent my life, really. The only person I spoke to about it really was my nan. And my nan, being the kind of woman she was a Geordie. She went and got these Doris Stokes books and she threw them at me. And when I was reading those books, Doris Stokes' life story, I was reading that thinking, yeah, I've had that. Yeah, I understand that. And, it was so, I was gobsmacked that somebody else had actually experienced what I experienced, like having that two-way conversation with them, or just hearing the voices and being able to have a conversation at night with people and stuff like that. So
yeah, I've read a few of those back in the 60s.
Oh, do you know what? After everything I did, I ended up at Wimbledon Spiritualist Church doing a demonstration of clairvoyance for them. And it was a big thing for me because Doris Stokes. Anyhow, I went up there, did it, really nervous, got through it, and then at the end, this gentleman came out. I think it was the last message that I gave, and I noticed this man at the end just standing at the back with his arms crossed, and then he disappeared. So at the end, when you go and get a cup of tea and a bicky with the old girls and have a nap, it's really lovely.
Yeah.
I got called into this office, and it turned out he was Doris Stokes' manager. And he said, that last reading you gave, he says, you didn't know who it was, did you? And I went, no, didn't know nothing about it. I described the woman, didn't know who she was. She never gave her name, talked about the rag and bow cart and this, that, and the other. I can't even remember what the messages were now. He said, well, the messages you gave to that lady's my wife. He says, you don't know who I am, do you? I went, no. He said, I'm Doris Stokes' manager. He said, and she was talking through you. That message was from her. And with that, I just burst into tears, you know. It was so emotional.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, and I know they were very touching books, weren't they, at the time, those books?
Yeah.
And, I can't remember, how many did she write? She must have written a good 12 or 13,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
she's written loads, but if it wasn't for Doris Stokes and my nan, hand on my heart, I wouldn't be doing what I am today. Would not be doing it. And it's because of those two people. I mean, like, a lot of people within the paranormal or the spiritual world will say, God, what's his name? From the Borley Rectory. They'll talk about him or, you know, and all of the
names escape you, innit?
Yeah, or even, you know, God rest his soul, Derek Acora.
Yeah, I was going to just mention him, actually. It's very sadly we recently lost Derek, because you knew him, didn't you?
I knew, well...
To an extent.
To an extent. I was more I'm more friendly with Richard, which was one of Derek's best friends, but through Richard... I got to talk to Derek, saw a lot of Derek.
Richard, for people out there, that's Richard Felix you're talking about.
Yeah. My mate Richard. But I went and saw him a couple of times. I mean, my mum used to absolutely adore Derek Acora. And there's one thing like this, this will make you laugh. I mean, we went and saw his show, we even got messages, it was brilliant. And then afterwards you could go around and meet him. So my mum wanted to go around and meet him and get a book signed and come on in, mum, let's go. And, of course, like Derek being Derek, cuddled everyone. And she always used to go on about his aftershave. Oh, he smells gorgeous. Mum, he's married. Oh, don't worry about that. She goes, Mum! It's quite funny.
I thought we were going to get an advert then. What was it, Brute or something?
I don't know what it was he was wearing, but the aftershave was nice.
No, but I get the feeling he was quite a nice... I mean, I've never met him, unfortunately. I would have liked to. I get the feeling he was actually a good medium. But I think he got used by the TV shows and had to come up with results. And I mean, what's your opinion?
The problem is, I mean, I see this this is not just Derek. I'm going to take Derek out of the frame here. If you get involved in the public eye, especially like that show that he was on, there are certain expectations of you, right? And then they want you to fake material to a degree, otherwise it's not good viewing.
That's what I mean. They want to make an entertainment show, don't they? I mean, if they're there and nothing's happening, they've wasted all that time filming and everything. That's But then you've got this other side of it, this flip side of it. If it's not your show and you're being told, oh, if you don't do this, we'll get rid of you, or you're bringing the show into disrepute, or you can't do that. You know, it's very, very hard, not just for Derek, but for anyone in that situation to be able to handle that. You know, I admire him for what he's been through, what he's endured. He still has a big fan base. When he's being serious and not cameras on him, when he's being serious and he's doing his work like he did, he was a really good medium. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I thought.
I learned a lot from him. Yeah. I learned a lot from that man. You know, I learned a lot from a lot of people. And, you know, I have my thoughts and, oh, that's a lot of rubbish, I accept that. But then there was other bits that I could accept, you know, and I've always kept that very dear to me, like not just Derek, anyone, you know, normal, everyday people, not just mediums. You know, I've worked through spiritualist churches. I sat in circle from not even being on a platform, not knowing how to, you know, talk to your spirit guide. And it took me 9 months from walking in that door in that closed circle, from the day I walked in to the day I went on platform on my own and did demonstrations of clairvoyance in churches. 9 months. So, excuse me. It was it happened very, very quickly. And then when I was working through the churches, people were coming to me that had problems in their home. Okay, so I did the church thing for quite a long time, but then people were coming to me with problems in their home, supposed hauntings, and then I started down that route, and I started on my own. It was just me, nobody else with me, on my own, going into people's homes and seeing what the problems were and what was happening. The very first one I did was where a child was involved, and I felt that I didn't know enough, so on the back foot I was going off and doing other courses and getting some education in psychology and counselling and all that sort of thing. And I went back and resolved the problem and the issue, which wasn't what people thought it was, but and it went on from there. And that's what really sort of gave me my leap from working, giving messages from loved ones to working in the paranormal and helping people with problems and issues.
I mean, just because we were talking about Derek, I mean, rest in peace, Derek Okora. I mean, I think he was loved by a lot of people, and certainly he did have his tough times, I know. But But I think at the basic, I think he was a decent human being, and I think he deserves that respect.
Not only that, I think, and I've got to say this. Sorry, you know me. I'll say that. I say what I find.
Well, you heard my intro, so.
But I think Gwen needs a lot of respect, and she needs a bit of space. And I know that you know his wife Gwen. Yeah. I mean, she did all the hard work behind him. They don't realise, Gwen's role, not just as his wife, but the things that happened. You know, she arranged for him to go places, signings, all sorts of things that Gwen did behind. So, you know, not only she lost her loved one, you know, the love of her life, and her husband, but she's lost her soul partner. And I just think that the stupidity that's happening on social media at the moment, you know, it's like people are not allowed to grieve anymore.
No.
You know,
you become sort of public property, don't you? And you're not allowed to. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I just think people need to sort of take stock of what they're writing and just step back from it for a minute and breathe. Do you know what I mean? It's getting silly, and that poor woman's heart is broken. It's not just broken; it's shattered. And I can't imagine for 1 minute what she's going through. Yeah. You know, and she needs respect too.
Yeah. It's like Richard, you mentioned Richard Felix. I mean, I imagine he was pretty upset about it as well. I mean, have you spoken to him since?
I haven't this year yet. I will be catching up with him, at some point. But I know that poor Richard, I know he's had problems. I shouldn't laugh. But he always has these little downfalls and little mishaps and things. But, I know that he's had problems at home with one of his, I think it's one of his dogs.
I think he said on the day his dog had a seizure on Derek's funeral day, wasn't it? And he couldn't go, apparently.
No, and I could just imagine Derek up there laughing his head off about it. He goes, "Well, I didn't want you anywhere," you know. You can imagine that, can't you?
Yeah.
But no,
it's all very sad.
I know, but you know, what people got to realise is that birth and death is all part of life.
Yeah.
We don't know where we're going next. People talk of another dimension. That dimension could be heaven. You know, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, Derek could well be listening to us now, couldn't
he? Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not open. I wouldn't want him to come through me and give a message. I'd freak myself out, I think.
Yeah. But maybe he'll listen to the show when it goes out anyway.
Yeah. No, he was a good man, and you know, I don't think this is the last you'll hear about Derek. You know, I just think, you know, Gwen will have stories about him. He will live on in all our memories and in our hearts.
Yeah. So. I mean, really, she needs to write a book about him, doesn't she? If she can bear to, if she can go that way, or someone, you know, write with her for it. I think. Who
knows? Who knows? You never know what she'll do next. You never know.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really know much about Gwen, to be honest. I've heard of her, but never met her or anything. I mean, I never met Derek, but there you go. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's all sad. But I mean, it was quite so sudden, wasn't it? At his age. Well, it's not an old age, is it?
No, but I'm not even sure what he went with. I mean, people are telling me that he went with sepsis. Now, if he's gone with sepsis, it's one of Britain's biggest killers, and people don't realise that.
Yeah.
There was a guy that, through a mutual friend, I heard that he's only a young guy as well, got sepsis last year and nearly died. But he's, back. I mean, I think he might have some issues that he has to keep going back to get checked, but he's back in the paranormal and he's still investigating and his team's going strong.
Yeah.
You know?
That's, wasn't that,
Jason Osterfield.
Oh, so no, it's not the name I was thinking of. It's somebody else, but okay. But,
yeah.
No, there's somebody else that I think had sepsis as well. I think he was in hospital just before Christmas because he was going to come on this show. I won't mention his name now because it's not fair. But yeah, I'm hoping to. His first name was Scott. I won't go any further than that. But I had to cancel the show because he went into hospital, unfortunately, and I've got to rearrange that show. But yeah, this seems. I don't know what causes it actually. Sepsis. What causes it?
I don't know. It's a poisoning of the blood, isn't it? So I don't know. I don't know.
But I mean, your body's a sealed. It's a sealed bottle, isn't it? How'd you get poisoned blood, I wonder?
I don't know. You must bang yourself and knock yourself or something, and there must be, I don't know, is it viral? I have no idea. No idea at all. It's a strange one though, because everyone will think, oh, cancer's our biggest killer, or heart disease and that sort of thing, but it's not. Apparently it's sepsis, so.
Yeah, it's a surprise to me too. Anyway, I suppose we better get back into the paranormal.
Oh, right, okay.
tell us a few stories about, I mean, have you had any experiences with poltergeists?
Ooh, well, let me tell you, right, I'm going to be appearing at, Parafest at the Village Church Farm in June.
As am I.
You're going to be there. And I'm going to do a talk on the worst case I've ever worked on. And it's quite a big case. There is some stuff that happened there, including poltergeist activity. I've got some photographs and things like that. And, we're just going to chat about it in general. But my views on poltergeist activity, and I know Malcolm will be pleased when I get this pen to paper and write it down for his book. I believe it's
That's Malcolm Robinson we're talking about. Yep.
Yeah. His new book's coming out soon.
yeah, Viv's doing a little bit for it apparently, and well, obviously it's to do with poltergeist, so.
Yeah, well, if I can get it in before the deadline, because he's given me a deadline, and I'm terrible when it comes to deadline. Anyhow, poltergeist activity, I believe, it's not necessarily about ghosts, okay? And I'm going to use the word ghost quite loosely. I believe that poltergeist activity, over the years that I've been investigating and doing this, I believe it's about energy, okay? So that energy might be lingering in a house. The house could be, or a building could be, manifesting this energy. It could be the land that's manifesting the energy, ley lines, that sort of thing. We also have individuals that are living and breathing that can manifest this energy. And I'll give you an example. I was called to a house where a young boy, he was 8 years old, parents were going through a very, very nasty divorce. The dad had already left, the mother was in the house, the dad's items were still in the house, so he was turning up the house, and you can imagine between a man and a woman having stand-up rows, slaps, arguments, whatever, and the child was in the house. Anyway, the father had been in, collected some stuff and had gone, but the child had witnessed all of this. And the father had gone about 3-4 months, and the boy was quiet anyway. He didn't really say very much, and he played with his stuff in his room. He had I think it was a Nintendo at the time, TV in there, he had a record player and all that sort of, he just did his own thing. But the TV in the living room was coming on its own at night. You could hear, they had like a speaker system through the TV, through an amp that was set up on the TV that the father had done. and when everything was switched off through the speakers, you could hear people talking. There was coats that were coming off the coat hook by the front door and being thrown across the hallway. The mother was absolutely terrified. Oh, as she come up one morning, she heard plates being smashed. Both her and her son were upstairs. She came down and there was all crockery broken on the floor. Anyway, it transpires because this boy had witnessed and gone through so much, including seeing his mum being slapped. He was the one that was causing this because he didn't know how to talk to anyone about it. He was going to school, keeping all that to himself. He didn't really have many friends at school that he could talk to about it. Not that they would understand. Nobody sat him down and told him what was happening. He would sit in his room crying. You know, all that pent up energy that this boy doesn't know how to express it. It's got to go somewhere. And he was causing it. Not deliberately, but, you know, he was causing it. And it was only when we sat down, we started talking to him, he then started to open up to his mother. It was over a long period. And, you know, at first I would make an excuse and leave. I said, like, you know, you need to be alone with your son and talk to him. And then she was like, no, stay. And so I stayed, just sat in the corner and didn't say or do anything, you know. And the little boy was he was pouring his heart out to his mum. And when it was all said and done, it was over the course of 6 months, all that activity stopped because he was able to talk to his mum, and his mum was able to talk to him in a way and explain things that he could understand. And as far as I know, he even still saw his dad and had a good relationship with his father, even though his father left. But, yeah. And so that, to me, that's what poltergeist activity is, energy.
So that was a form of psychokinesis, is it? Or is that something different?
No, see, psychokinesis is the thought of moving stuff with your mind. This boy didn't know he was doing it. You know, all that energy was building up inside him, and it has to go somewhere. So it's going to ooze out and cause things to happen. He wasn't making the voices come through the speaker. He didn't think about that. He wasn't making that happen. It just happened.
Yeah, well, I just wondered if he did suddenly become aware of it and then could develop that, would it turn into psychokinesis if he could control it?
I don't know, but you see, you have that again, like with couples that let's say, for example, I bought my house from a couple. He used to batter her quite badly. The actual act of her being hit and not being able to talk about it or tell anyone because she was ashamed. Yeah. The actual the act itself builds energy. The lady suffering is building energy, and the man doing the act is building energy. And that energy's got to go somewhere. It might blast into the walls of my house. So then I've moved into this house now, and things are moving. And I'm hearing stuff and I'm seeing stuff. I'm hearing people arguing. There's nobody there. Or I'm seeing shadows, things like that within my house. And I'm seeing replays of maybe a man hitting a woman, thinking it's a ghost. It's not. They're living and breathing and living in the next town. He's married somebody else and she's got a toy boy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're seeing like a recording of it type of thing.
A recording, and also with things moving, you know, when she's not able to tell anyone what's happening to her because she feels ashamed. And pent up all that energy. She's not spoken to her best friend. She hasn't been able to go out and scream. She's had to bury what was happening within herself. That energy's got to go somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't say it's like that in every case, would you? But
no. Oh, no.
But it explains a good percentage, I presume, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
it's interesting. It's something I'd never actually thought of. I would have thought that, like poltergeist, is the same sort of thing as psychokinesis. But now you've explained that, I can see the difference.
Yeah. I mean, psychokinesis, you've got a consciousness that I want to move that glass of water over there without touching it. Whereas poltergeist, I'm not aware that glass is moving, but I'm causing it. I think that's what the difference is between the two.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So, now poltergeists are obviously a completely different type of ghost to a normal ghost, aren't they? So you've obviously had your fill. You must have experienced quite a few normal ghosts as well.
Oh,
in
well.
your time. I know you said about the ghost that your first one with the man walking through the wall, which I found was fascinating. I mean, I'll tell you what, but you should actually write a book about all this.
Well, I am writing a book. It's only taken me 3 years. I'm not even got
really.
I'm terrible. I am writing a book about an actual case that actually did happen. I'm having to change the area where it happened, the man's name, all sorts of things. I'm having to sort of put it sort of under a big secret, if you like. But the problem I'm having is, because it's all wartime stuff that relates, and he wouldn't talk about what really happened. I've spent the last 3 years trying to sort of probe people and delve into the nastier side of war and what it does and what people endured and yada, 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 as much as I can get, just to fill in the gap. But other than that gap, everything else is exactly what happened.
Right. So how much longer you got to go on that then, do you think?
Well, who knows? But, yeah, people have asked me to write some spiritualism books even.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're quite capable and you've had the experience for it.
But the thing is, it wouldn't be my words, it would be my guide's words. I wouldn't even know where to begin, because without my guide, he is, do you know, I love him and I hate him at the same time. It sounds horrible, doesn't it? Not very spiritual. But anybody that works with a guide that's quite strict would understand where I'm coming from, because I get told off. He's like my dad, having another dad there. He'd tell me off. He chastises me. He actually gets me to work. He gets me to think. He gets me to listen. You've got the philosophical side of it, as well as, giving messages and not trying to put your words in and interpret it to make it fit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a lot more to it than people do realise.
Yeah, talking about guides, that's something else that's always interested me. Some people are told they've got several guides. I mean, you just said, have you got one or have you got more than one?
Well, the way I would describe it, okay, you have a doorkeeper. So he is what I would call, he's the main man. Like, nothing happens without his say-so. He might step aside to let another guide come in and work with me. For example, a healer, a healing guide. I'm not a healer, but if I was, I would have a healing guide that would come in and I would do my healing with the help of my healing guide, but only on the say-so of my doorkeeper. If my doorkeeper says no, that's not happening, that healing guide won't come in.
I see. Right.
So then you've got guides to do certain jobs. So for me, I have twins that come in that's supposed to help me with protection when I'm doing this more scarier stuff. What I call scarier stuff. I'm always scared. To do my house clearances and to help people. Not only will I have him, I will have these two other guides that come in, but they actually don't talk to me. They don't say a word.
Oh, really?
No.
So how do you know that? I suppose obviously you sense them.
Yeah. They come in. One goes to the front door, and the other one goes to the back door. But it's not actually a door itself. It's my door, my front door, my back door, because I've had too many things jump in me without permission. And to be honest, when that happens, I feel, how can I explain it? Right. This is where it's going to get deep. The only way I can explain is once that's happened, I feel dirty. Okay, like somebody, I've never been raped, but you can imagine a girl being raped and feeling dirty, unclean, and afterward. You read about it and you see it on the soaps.
Yeah, I suppose what you're saying is that something's entering your body without your permission, so you can't, no matter where it is, it's kind of without your permission. Yeah, I can get what you're saying.
Yeah. So when it comes to doing trance, because I do trance, only if I feel right will I ever do it. Only if I feel comfortable around the people, because if something goes wrong, I can rely on them to get me out and to help me come forward and know what to do if that doesn't happen. So the trance side of things, I try and do it very sparingly, because once you start opening yourself up to that, anything can jump in. So this is what annoys me when, yeah, you're going to get it now, when you go on investigations, and it's what people perceive it to be. Oh, I got taken over by a spirit. Oh, I got to leave the room. Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
If you'd got taken over by spirit, trust me, we would all know you weren't taken over by spirit. It's all about, look at me, look at me, look at me. Yeah. They might be having feelings they don't understand. They might be seeing something that they don't understand. Or they, you know, for a split second, the spirit might come in and overshadow for a little while. But trust me, you weren't taken over, love.
Yeah.
You'd know if you were.
I know exactly what you're saying. I've been to a few like that, and you go, oh, you think, oh, really? Yeah, but it's you again, is it? You know, it's always the same one, isn't it, normally as well?
Oh, and you know what? I find it, and I've had to keep my mouth shut, David, say nothing, turn around and walk out of the room that it's happening, because if I stay in, I just sit there laughing, you know, and some people genuinely get upset. They genuinely don't understand what's just happened. And I feel sorry for them. But, you know, why are you going to these places for stuff like that to happen, but you're not willing to sit and talk about it and fully understand it? You just want people to come and talk to you. Oh, are you feeling all right? A lot of it is an act 9 times out of 10, you know. There is that small percentage of people that genuinely, yes, something happened. Yes, they can't explain it, but they're misinterpreting it, that they got taken over by spirit.
Yeah. That's interesting. But as I say, I know what you're talking about, and it's usually the same people that each one.
But the thing is, they watch too much television, and they watch. I'm sorry, I've got a lot of good friends in America, but these Americans that are putting that out on TV, and it's getting into the mindset of a lot of people in the paranormal field in the UK. And let's just say they are not very well educated. I'm putting that nicely, David, for you.
No, I've actually said it on some of the other shows about some of the American ghost hunting shows. They really dramatise them quite a lot, don't they? And I know ours are a little bit, but they really are dramatised. It's probably just to draw the audiences in and make it exciting, but they actually take away the realism, don't they?
David, have you met a demon yet?
No.
Not an actual living demon, like a human being demon, but because there's plenty of them.
Oh no, I've met one or two. Yeah. As you know.
But do you know what? When I was over in the States, and they all laughed at me because I gave them the opportunity to leave my lecture. I said, like, you've got the opportunity to leave now. I said, because if you guys sitting here believe in demons, get up and walk now, because you're going to hate me. You're really going to hate me. Because what makes you think all the demons need to go to America? That's the last place on earth they would want to go to, surely. Think about it. Why would you want to go to America? You're a demon.
Yeah, well... I don't know. What are you going to tell us?
What is so special about America that the demons have to be over there?
Don't you get demons all over the world, though? Or is it just mainly in America you get them?
Apparently it's just mainly in America, and there's all on the TV shows, all the demons are over there. And again, I put it down to how you put the Americans, like, bless them. If they don't understand something, or they're frightened of it, it must be a demon. It's not a demon.
You do realise this goes out across America, don't you?
Well, I don't care.
I'll give them your email address at the end of this. So, you know.
I'll give it to them. spookyviv@hotmail.com. Bring on. But this thing about the 3 scratches, right?
Yeah.
Now, I've been in a place where I have physically seen spirits, dogs, right? So you walk in, they're aware that you've noticed them, they'll come up and greet you, jump up at you, scratch you. I've not been scratched by a demon. I've been scratched by a dog. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
The difference between us and them is like, oh, I've been scratched by a demon, because it makes for good watching on TV. Yeah. I know.
Well, I'm going to ask you, so you don't actually believe there are such things as demons? Is that what you're saying?
No, there are some nasty stuff out there, and I have been witness to, when I was out in India, I saw a boy that was possessed out in the streets. That was frightening. Really frightening. I was very young, didn't understand it. It happened. I've never forgotten that. And I was always scared of the film The Exorcist because of what I witnessed in India. I do believe out in the Arab states, jinn, but not in the way that we perceive jinn to be. Like, we think jinn and you think a genie. Nah. I do believe in that. And I've actually spoken to people that have had experiences, not up close and personal, but they've actually had an experience with a jinn. And I believe this guy. He's a very straight talking, doesn't believe in ghosts and all that sort of thing. And when he told me what he saw, I said to him, "You do realise that was jinn?" He said, "I knew you was going to say that." But and they were temples. I mean, there was one. I mean, I talk about in my previous lectures in Syria. There was a temple of Beelzebub. And it has angels, or you could look at them and think they were demons. It's how you perceive that statue to be. Because it's not a human face, because it's got fangs and it's got wings, doesn't mean it's a demon. You know, it's what society today has turned it into. And it was a very beautiful, it doesn't exist anymore because ISIS has blown the hell out of it.
Yeah, that's a shame,
I know, but it was a beautiful temple to go and see. And back there, and over there, Beelzebub was a bit of, like a temple of love. There's a bit of naughtiness that went on in there, you know.
Yeah, say no more.
You know, between men and ladies, let's say.
Well, going back to the demons thing, I mean, and we're talking about America. I mean, is there a lot of old legends about for the Native Americans, the Red Indians?
Skinwalkers.
Yeah, that type of thing, like demons, aren't they?
Oh, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that there is no demon, but I think us as human beings, especially today, it's what we perceive it to be. Now, religion has got a big part to play in that. Whatever your religion is, there's going to be a good bit of it and a bad bit of it, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
So, and I think throughout the ages, it's all got mixed up and blurred, and people have used this word demon, to get what they want, like money, sex, drugs, whatever. And they still use that word today to get whatever they want. Fame, normally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know. I can see that.
I mean, to me, a demon would be somebody, not somebody, I wouldn't call the somebody the demon, but the actual thing that they're using to get high every day. I don't know, heroin. That's a demon.
That's today's demon, yeah.
To me, that's what a demon is. There are stuff out there that we don't understand. There is stuff out there that is very scary, but it doesn't mean that it's a demon. That's the message that I try and get across to people.
Yeah, it's like when you said, I've never seen a demon. I've never had anything really scary happen to me, no.
I have.
I've had, yeah, I know. I'm sure you have. I mean, you did tell us a bit about it, didn't you? But, I mean, would you want to tell us some more about some scary things that you've experienced?
I'll tell you that the most scariest thing that has ever happened to me in all my 50 years of being on this planet happened to me last year. And what happened was, I went out, I'm part of Ghost Quest. I'm the only female investigator on that team, and they film for a YouTube channel. So big shout out to Ghost Quest and Ben and the guys there. And we filmed, and I'll tell you where it was, I'll be totally honest with you. We went to the Salutation Inn in Nottingham.
Right, yeah.
And the boys got very excited because there was caves down below. They wanted to set up all their cameras and do all their filming down there, and then they were getting all excited about that. So while they were setting up, I went upstairs. The pub was empty. It was just the manager, the boys, and me. And I went upstairs, and to cut a long story short, I kept hearing growling. I grabbed one of the boys, and this is upstairs, not in the caves. Went upstairs. He heard the growling, not just with his own ears, but through some audio equipment that we were using, and it frightened him. It wasn't like a normal growl, not like a dog growl. It was awful. So this happened a couple of times throughout the night, and tried to ignore it, carried on with it, you know, because they were filming in there and we wanted to get a good investigation out of it, and we did. I went home and I heard the same growling. And we were all chatting about it. Does everyone feel okay after? I've been feeling a bit woozy and a bit this. I think I might have brought something home. I'm thinking, all right, okay. Anybody else heard growling? No. This went on for about 4 weeks, and my health started deteriorating. So I got involved with my guide, and he confirmed that I'd brought something home. He said to me that I wasn't allowed to do anything, and to leave it with him for the next week. Just eat healthy, go to bed early, get plenty of rest, and then I was supposed to link in with him again. Anyway, I had to do this ritual with him, which involved a lot of smudging and chanting and doing some stupid stuff that I do with him. Well, it's not stupid, it's really good stuff, but anyhow. Then he told me to go away and rest and not do anything again. And then when I did link in with him again, he said to me, how do you feel? Like you're going to be a bit woozy for a good few months. And I said, look, I want to know what's going on. Did I take something home? And basically, I did.
They call it an attachment, don't they, normally?
Well, there was a reason behind this. He told me I brought home a bear. Right. Yeah. So he said, at first he said, you brought home a wild animal. That's what he said to me. And I'm thinking, right. And then I went into it a bit more with him, and it turned out it was a bear. My guide is a Canadian Indian that wears bear skin.
Right.
So the bear was attached to me because of him.
Oh.
And we could not have stopped this, even if we tried. It was something that was going to happen because the bear wanted its freedom, and it was a wild animal. So, yes, it was an attachment. Yes, it was bad, but it wasn't evil bad. Okay? I was then talking to Ashley Waterhouse, who's a historian in his own right, and I was telling him what was happening. He was going, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. I was going, yeah, but this wild animal, there's no way I could have got rid of it. I had to do it in slow steps and stages with the help of my guide and guidance through him. I said, I went through hell. He said, oh, that's interesting. I said, why do you keep telling me that's interesting? He said, oh, you don't know about the jug that they found in the cave. I went, what jug? He said, they found a jug. They dug up a jug, and it had a bear on the jug where they used to do bear baiting in the caves of Nottingham.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know anything about that. I would have gone in a bit more prepared if I did.
Yeah, I mean, the connections there are amazing, aren't they?
But the thing is, like, I mean, I tell people, I said, oh yeah, you just imagine it because your guide's a bear. I went, no, actually, honestly, I wanted to kill my husband. I hated him. I didn't like him anymore. I didn't want him to be in my house, let alone get him sleeping next to me in my bed. I turned into this nasty, vicious, like, and I don't know why I was feeling like that.
Did you find that again? You were like that with most people?
Just Andy, yeah.
Because I mean, I know you, Viv, and you're not like that normally. You're nice and bubbly like you are now. So I mean, did you find you sort of so nasty or something, and people noticed?
I just didn't. I was always feeling hungry. I wanted to drink a lot. I wanted a lot to drink, but then when I had it, I didn't want it. It was just really weird. I felt ill. I felt dizzy. I felt like I hadn't slept. I was confused. I mean, I work in finance during the day. I have a full-time job. Can you imagine, like, crunching all those numbers and feeling like that? I felt absolutely awful.
Yeah, counting those pennies, yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, my husband, he's quite thick-skinned, bless him, and he just put it all down to the menopause. He said, oh, just keep taking your tablets, love, you know, and he just laughed it off, but it was quite serious.
Yeah. Oh. I'll tell you something else that's always interesting. Ectoplasm. Now, have you ever experienced ectoplasm, or was this one of these old-fashioned things that were always faked in these old pictures?
It's cheesecloth.
Yeah, I mean, I know. Yeah, I mean, but you do see some that look quite convincing in some of these old pictures. But of course, you've never. I mean, with all the filming and cameras we've got now, why can't we film something like that? So it's something that was just invented in the what was it? Edwardian times, was it?
You see, but then right, we can look at it from 2 points of view, right? Ectoplasm. What actually is it? Nobody knows.
Yeah, that's what I was asking you.
But there have been instances, I mean, I've known, and I've been in a house, and you'll hear about this in June, where there was a funny sticky residue on the walls of a house, and this house is spotless. I couldn't explain it. I wouldn't have called it ectoplasm, but it could be. I don't know. In somebody else's mind, it might be ectoplasm. But honestly, it reminded me of snot on the walls, but clear and more in a liquid form. I looked at him, and who's been snotting on the walls? And of course, they all laughed at me, you know. And it wasn't there when the incident on that particular day finished. It completely vanished, and there was 3 of us that witnessed that. So what, I don't know, again, I put it down to perception. What do you perceive ectoplasm to be? I mean, back in the day, they used cheesecloth. It was a way of publicising that mediums were able to contact the spirit, and here was the proof, you know.
Yeah.
I call it clever marketing back in the day.
Yeah, that's what I mean, because I mean, nowadays you should be able to film something like that if it's happening, and I don't know of any film that's been done like that. So I mean, they used to sit them in a cabinet, didn't they? Sort of tie their arms to the chair, and so they couldn't, made it look like they weren't doing anything, so they couldn't fake anything. But of course they were faking it. These what I call the spirit cabinets, they've been adapted, and some mediums are using them today, and quite successfully. So again, it's taking a tool and finding a use for it. Mm. Do you think a lot of mediums are fakes? I mean, I know there are. There's probably quite a few, but like a majority. What do you reckon? What do you reckon the percentages?
The thing is, for me, I find that quite a hard question to answer, because within mediumship you have varying levels. Okay, so you have clairsentience, clairaudient, and clairvoyant. Then you have trance mediums. Then you have platform mediums. Then you have healers that are still mediums. And then you have cold readers, the psychics. Psychics use tools to be able to give you the message. A medium doesn't need a tool. They just act as an interpreter. Okay. You have everyone in the paranormal world wanting to be a medium, because they think that people go to a ghost hunt because they want to listen to a medium. Not true. I think they want to experience something themselves. But then I've been on ghost hunts where people have gone to a ghost hunt just to get a message from their loved one from me. Well, why don't you see me separately?
Yeah.
Why do you need to ruin a good ghost hunt where we could all try and experience something and have a bit of fun? Because you want a reading.
Yeah. It's like I said before, a lot of these ghost hunts, they're actually quite boring through half the night, and then until something happens. I mean, usually you think, oh, might as well go home, nothing's happening, you know, and then something will happen and it'll sort of hold your attention.
Yeah, but then, you know, when you've got the ghost hunting side of it with the medium is supposed to act like a tool and a protector, not look at me, especially with public. You know, I think you might have been there, and you might not have been there. The last time I went to Rougham.
Yeah, I was there.
The medium.
When we were walking around in the field, you mean?
Well, no, there was,
oh no, it might not have been the last month. Yeah, that's right.
No.
Yeah.
Two people got upset because the medium had told them off, and I'm thinking, well, no medium would discredit or show people up in front of a crowd of people for a start. Me personally, I've got a big gob. I would pull them to one side and then read them the right act. I wouldn't do it in front of a room full of people. So when these two people were telling me that they were upset with this particular medium, I said, okay, well, come round with me. I said, what do you want? I'm not supposed to be working. And I ended up, because they were showing signs of having, where they'd done so many ghost hunts, they were getting a bit sensitive to things. Empathic is the word I'm looking for. So they were feeling stuff. So rather than me showing them and telling them, I got them that relaxed that they were showing me and telling me, and I was getting the information out of them about the place, not them. And at the end of it, I said, oh, congratulations. I said, thank you and well done on your mediumship. And they looked at me and went, oh my God, yes, you know. And I said, well, this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's up to you whether you continue down that pathway or you go down one of the other pathways, because they are completely different when it comes to ghost hunting mediumship and platform mediumship.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, if you remember, I did a small course with you. It was only around Gary Bradfield's
we did.
And it was actually quite interesting because Jill came as well, my wife, and I think it was a really interesting day. I can't remember if anything happened now, though. I think we did actually do a few tests and things, didn't we?
Didn't you see a man on a boat?
There was something about a boat, wasn't there? There was a drawing, wasn't there? Yeah, trouble is, I've been so many, these things, I get them all mixed up and I haven't got very good memory anyway. I should write things down. But,
and then you forget the techniques and you think, oh, yeah, I remember that. But when it comes down to doing it again, oh, how do I do that again?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of things like that where I've been quite surprised at myself. And I tell you now, I was actually told by a couple of, I don't know, mediums or sensitives or something, that I've got a healing power. I don't know this myself. I've not been, I've never sort of thought of myself as that, but I've been told the same thing through a couple of mediums. So, I don't know.
It's like with me. Even with me, like, I don't normally get readings. For some reason, all the mediums, and I've been to see a good few, they will skip past me. I must give them a warning sign or something, and they'll go to someone else. But when I have had the odd reading that has come through, and these have been in different places in the country, no way could these mediums don't work in the paranormal field. No way could they know each other or work on the same circuits. And they've all told me the same thing. Have you had a death in the family recently? No. Are you feeling okay? Yes. Why are you asking me? Because, and I'm going to tell you now because I know that you can take this. They said you've got a 7-foot tall figure that's cloaked, standing behind you. I can't see the face. A bit like the Grim Reaper, but without the side. And they told me, and this has been going on for years, but that thing again. I've never seen it. And then I did a workshop with, I can't even remember the lady's name, years and years ago, at the College of Psychic Studies. And she said to me, oh, I can see your guardian angel, only people won't talk of him as a guardian angel. I went, okay, what rubbish is she talking, And then she said its name, and she said, yeah, it's 7 foot tall, maybe 8 foot tall, and it looks like the Grim Reaper without his side, just is there for protection. I went, oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, that sounds scary in itself, doesn't it?
Well, apparently he's an angel. Okay, I'll take it, as long as he's protecting me and not doing anything else, I'll take it all day long.
Else will be. Maybe this is what these other mediums are seeing, and sort of skipping by you.
It could be.
Well, it could be, Viv. You said you've got your guides. Perhaps your guides were warning them to go elsewhere, and they could see that. I don't know. But
I find it fascinating that mediums work. Even if you just forget the paranormal for a minute, just the platform mediums. When you go and see all these different mediums, I've seen old ones, young ones, really ancient ones, but some mediums that can barely stand up but still go and do platform work, and have been absolutely fantastic. I've never got the reading, but what I've done is I've sat there and watched the way they work, how they link in, what are they saying, how they address people. All of that, to me, is a lesson in itself. How you can give over quite an important message that's quite sensitive, but do it in a way that they understand what you're talking about, and the other people around you in this big room have no clue what they're saying. It's absolutely wonderful. And when I've asked people afterwards that message that you got, I said, I'm not prying, like, please don't tell me if you don't want to. I said, but could you take that word for word? Oh yeah, I knew exactly what she was talking about. And I said, how? I've even quizzed them afterwards. And then they told me, well, this, and this, and this. Oh, okay, then, and I've actually seen it with my own eyes. So, yeah, it's even to this day, it's a learning curve. Yeah. It really is.
Well, I've had that experience myself. I've had some things told me by psychics or mediums or whatever, and only I could have known it.
Yeah.
I've had names given to me and things like that, and they wouldn't have got this information from anywhere, except unless they were reading my mind. That's the only way they could have got it. And, I've had some quite amazing results. Jill did too, you know, she's, she had some good readings. About a year or so ago, we had some really good ones. So it's interesting. So when we're going to, where was it? I can't think where we were going. Where's this event we're going to?
Oh, at the village.
The village museum, isn't it? Oh, sorry, I've got a bit of Skegness Church Farm Museum in the UK. What county is Skegness in? That's not Norfolk, is it?
Oh, now you're asking. It's not Lincolnshire, is it?
It could be up that way. Could be. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what county Skegness is in. But if anyone out there is interested in going to the Skegness Church Farm Museum on 18th of July, it is. And it's called Parafest, and it's the East Anglia Paranormal Investigations event, run by Gary Bradfield. You can find it on Facebook, and Viv will be there. There's going to be Gert Brower, who's on the show before last, on this show. Gary Bradfield, who runs it. Tom Warrington, Barry Frankish. Have we left the audio out? Oh, and you and me. That's right.
Yeah. You've missed out the most important ones.
I mean, I'm the least important, but everyone else is going to be amazing. I'm pretty sure. But I know you've got some good. You'll have some good info to pass on. Will you be doing any readings there? Do you think?
I might do one or two. I might do. I mean, I know Sharon's keen for me to bring my tarot cards, and I said, well, I'll bring them anyway, because if I'm feeling tired, it's sometimes quite difficult to make the link with spirit, you know. So at least they'll get a tarot reading or something out of me. I might even bring my teapot and do a few tea leaf readings.
Oh, not to make the tea. No. Well, you got to make the tea first, though, haven't you?
Make the tea, have a tea leaf reading. We'll have a nice cuppa and a chat while we're waiting for your leaves and what have you. But no, I've been known to do tea leaf readings from time to time. My nan taught me how to do them when I was about 11 years old. Yeah. I've been doing tea leaf readings. But the thing is,
interesting actually. Yeah, so I mean, I've seen the tea leaves, and when you're supposed to be able to see pictures in it, well, I can't see anything.
But the problem is, I cheat because I'm at mediumship level now. I'll start with all good intentions. I'll start doing the tea leaf readings, and then I'll hear spirit come in, and then start talking about it, giving me all the information to relay onto the person having a tea leaf reading. So, and it's a good tool, especially if somebody's scared of mediumship and don't want to hear it from spirit. They can have a tea leaf reading or a tarot reading, and I just won't tell them that spirit's talking to me. I'll just do it through the cards, and they'll normally tell me what's going on with the cards or the tea leaves anyway.
Yeah. Is that kind of another thing, instead of a crystal ball, so you're focusing on that particular thing, or is it something different?
No, with tea leaves, it's where you'll see pictures within the leaves, and it depends where in the cup that they're placed. So they have, the images have meanings, where it's placed has meaning. Same with the tarot cards. You'll see the cards have images on them. So, let's say that, I don't know, let's talk about the, death, for example. If that's, depending on how you lay your deck, I use the Celtic cross. So, depending on where it is within the Celtic cross, it has a specific meaning with that card being there in the first place. Never mind about what the card is. So then it has another meaning when that card is placed there. And if it's inverted, if it's upside down, it's got the opposite meaning. So yeah, it's something that's learned. And you can't learn it overnight. It takes years and years.
Yeah, I can see that, because I've actually got a deck of those out, and I can see it would take you a long time to actually memorise what each thing means. And otherwise you'd be getting a book out for each reading, and you just couldn't do it, could
you? Well, I sort of know where they are, but I only use the major arcana cards. I don't use the whole deck. And I have a particular deck that I love. It's a really old-fashioned deck. You bring out these lovely new fancy decks, and you think, oh, they're nice pictures, but to me, it don't feel right. When I'm doing a reading, I have to have this raggedy old pack of tarot cards I've had for years. I use those.
Yeah, apparently somebody told me, if somebody gives you you're supposed to do something with it if somebody gives it to you, aren't you?
you're supposed to have your tarot cards bought for you.
Ah, that's what I meant, yeah.
And then you're supposed to clean them and keep them wrapped in black silk. Well, I can't afford silk, so it's got a bit of black satin because I'm common. But anything that you can get your hands, you're supposed to keep them wrapped, and you're supposed to sort of cleanse them from time to time because a lot of people handle them. But yeah,
that's what I was getting at. So someone's supposed to buy them or give them to you. Yeah.
But yeah, your crystal ball, your scrying is one of the oldest forms of divination that there is. Crystal balls, before crystal balls came along, they were using water for scrying on them. So yeah, I had a go. I can't do it. I just can't see anything in the crystal ball. It's not for me.
Oh, right.
But I do want to learn how to read the bones.
Right.
I've got plastic ones, by the way, not real bones. But
can you get real ones? I suppose you can.
I suppose once you finish
your bones or something.
You have a roast chicken, dry your bones out.
I suppose you could. Get your wishbone and yeah.
But yeah, I'm far too busy to be sort of going back into that, and I've got all these books to write.
Yeah.
I've got Write for Malcolm. I've got these conventions to attend to, and I just never seem to find the time. But you never know. Maybe one day you might hear me reading the bones.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing you again. If not before, it's July the 18th, I believe.
It is,
unless I've got the date written down wrong. I'm pretty sure it is that. Yeah.
I think there's some tickets still. You can buy tickets, day tickets, but I think there's a few VIP tickets.
They've still got some left, have they? Yeah. The VIP tickets means you can come on the ghost hunt, or is it? I suppose it's a ghost hunt, paranormal investigation in the evening. But the rest of the day, I think it's £20, isn't it, for the day? For the speakers and free admission to the farm museum. Now that farm museum, before we pack up, have you been there before, and is it very active?
I have, and it is.
Oh, right, so that's it.
but not just at night though. During the day, I've been there in the daytime, and I've witnessed things and experienced things. And even when you talk to the girls there that are running the place, you speak to them about what goes off in there, and you'll be actually quite surprised. It's full of history. I mean, you can even see the bullet holes where there were two planes having a dogfight during the World War, or I don't know, and you can see the bullet holes where on one of the beams and the barns there. It's an amazing place.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Oh, so anyway, so anyone listening out there you go. It sounds like it's going to be a good event. I've not been there myself before, but it sounds good. But,
what we'll do is, when we'll be there early anyway, so before the public come in, I'll take you and show you where the bullet holes are. And unless you were shown, I don't suppose you would notice.
No, we'll be going there the night before anyway and getting the place organised and everything, won't we? So, should be good. I'm looking forward to it anyway.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Anyway, Viv, it's been lovely. I mean, have you got anything else you want to say before we sort of close this down?
Well, yeah, if any Americans want to email me and talk to me about demons, my email address is spookyviv@hotmail.com. You can find me on Facebook. I have got Twitter, but I'm hardly ever on there, to be honest.
I do the same. So. I can't quite get my head around Twitter, to be honest, but...
But yeah, I've got Facebook, Vivien Powell, and you'll also find the RAPS websites up there. Just give me a holler.
Well, what I'll do anyway, I've got my Paranormal Dimensions page. I'll put a lot of whatever links I can find relating to you. I'll put that email address and everything. So anyone or anywhere in the world, if you're listening to this, it means the UK as well. If you want to get in touch with Viv or myself or whatever, I can put you in touch with Viv. Please do. Yeah. It's anyway, it's been a great pleasure, Viv, and as always, and I'm sure, because Viv's been out working all day, and we're just doing this late in the evening now, and I bet you haven't even had any dinner yet, have you?
I have.
Oh, you have?
I've had my dinner, and I've even watched Emmerdale.
Oh, well, that's all right then. I don't feel so guilty now then.
No. It's been absolutely wonderful talking to you, David, as always. And I look forward to our next investigation together.
Yeah. It's if not before July, I imagine it probably will be the next time I see you, but you never know. Something might come up. But if you're ever down this way, you're always welcome.
Excellent. You never know, I'm going to hold you to that now.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it. I mean it. All right, Viv, take care of yourself, and thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
We'll do it again sometime as well.
Thank you.
Well,
take care.
Yeah,
Give my love to Jill.
I will do. Cheers, Viv. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Paranormal UK Radio Network. This is Paranormal Dimensions. I'm David Young. Goodbye, and listen again next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.
Paranormal Dimensions is a regular feature on Mondays on the Paranormal UK Radio Network.